Good evening. I didn't know how to start this video, so I'm a bit lost. And let's get started. So last time I was showing you what we are going to build, and so far I've progressed with the work. I started coding actually the application, only a small part of the backend part. And the first thing I wanted to focus is on the obvious one, which was how to actually the booking happens, how everything works, how everything works. How do we allow the bus owners to schedule their routes, the travel, how all of these things work in the background. I've done some research on other company that already do it, like especially like this company in India called Redbus. I used to use their app once in a while, and it's actually a great app, by the way. And so I tried to look articles, how is their system designed, and all of that, so I can actually get either inspired or maybe learn one thing or two we are going to implement in this app. I mean, in this major set of applications, if I may say. So the first thing you have to take into account is the concept of routes. A route is obviously like from start to end, where the bus starts and where the bus ends, the journey. So I did some PPT slides real quick so I can actually show it to you guys real quick. Okay, so we'll start. So I took an example of a bus that comes from a place here in France called Brest, and that goes all the way to another place called Strasbourg. So you can see the start sign here and the end stop sign here, and the small bus and the road, as you can see. So the bus will go all the way through this route. So this is the route, and in order to understand the map I've done, I don't know if you guys can see. 1 second. So I'll show you guys the screen. You can see my screen here. So, oh my God, it's actually reversed. Let me do it here. It will be much better. Sorry. Yeah. So this is the app. You can see. So this is the map I found online that showcases a bit what we'll do. So let's say the bus starts from Brest. It will come from Brest, and I will just ignore this one, and it will come from Brest. It will go to Rennes, or Rennes, as we say over here, and then it will travel all the way to Paris, and then from Paris it will go to Reims, and then from Reims to go to Metz, and from Metz it will go to Strasbourg. Or as we can say, it can come from Brest and go to Saint-Brieuc. From Saint-Brieuc it goes to Rennes. From Rennes it can go to Le Mans. From Le Mans it can go to Paris, etc. And even from Rennes it can go maybe to Nancy and then to Strasbourg. It can go in any way. But we will just focus on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. So as you can see, it will come from Brest, go to Rennes. From Rennes the bus will go to Paris. From Paris, you go to Reims. From Reims, you go to Metz. And from Metz, it will end to Strasbourg. And still, all this journey, we call it a journey, or is called a route. So it's a route. All right. So if we, So if we come back here, they go next. So each route is made of a segment. Okay, and each segment is made of a start and stop. All right, so in our case, from Brest to Strasbourg, these are our segments. So we have segment 1, which is made from Brest to Rennes, and then segment 2, which is made of Rennes to Paris, as obviously as Brest as start, Rennes as a stop, Rennes as a start, Paris as a stop. Paris, take it like a bus. It will go to the next stop. It will stop. Some people will come out. Some people will come in. It will go in the bus, I mean. And then it will keep going until the last stop, which will be Strasbourg in our case. Okay, so we'll take an example. So we'll keep this information because in the next video I'll be doing how videos like no sorry I'll be doing a video about the coding parts. So let's say we have a Volvo, we'll have a bus information, we'll have the bus name, for example, the number of seats will be 20 and the plate number, and the owner maybe will be called Rafiki Transport. And then we have another concept called seat inventory, which is basically the number of seats which are available. And this will be mostly the table we're going to use in order to know if a seat is available or not on a certain day for a certain bus on a certain route. All right. Is seat inventory for buses refers to the count and status of available seats on a bus. It has managed reservation, optimize seating, and provide accurate information to passengers about seat availability, just like airlines. It's used to prevent overbooking and ensure smooth operations. All right. And seat inventory is made of seats available per segment of a route. So if we have 5 segments within a route, oh, there's a mistype here. We will create a group of available seats per each segment. So what I'm trying to say is that when we create a seat, for example, for the 20 seats here, when we're saying how many seats are available, we're going to create enough seats in our database for each segment. For segment 1, there's this number of seats, so there'll be 20. For segment 2, there'll be this amount of seats for segment 2, and such and such and such. So let's say in total, you will have how many seats? You will have 1, 2, 3, you have 100 seats, which will be created just for these 5 segments here. Okay. So what is the process of making a booking? So the user obviously will first go to the app, will insert their start and stop of their journey. They'll say, I want to start from Reims and maybe go all the way to Strasbourg or to Reims, for example. And then we look up in the seat inventory based on the input of the user. So based on that, for example, the user said, I want to start from Brest. We say, give me all the available seats where the starts is Brest and the stop is Reims, and then obviously the system should give back all the available seats on this particular route, even if we have a lot of buses and everybody who has these two stop start and stop should be within the return of our results. Okay, and then we identify the segment to which the start and stop belong to. So for example, if the start was within the segment 2 and the end was within the segment 4. So by that, what I mean, let's say you want to go from Rennes to Reims, for example. So what will happen? Sorry, I had to come back because I was talking too loud. So I was saying, so let's say the bus starts from Rennes, and then the stop is at Reims, for example. No, sorry, it's at Reims, for example. So that means the start and stop, this end segment is, because we have to look at which one is the start segment and which one is the end segment. And in our case, the start segment will be number 2 and the end segment will be number 3. But let's say now the user wants to go from Rennes to Metz, for example. So now the start segment will be Rennes and the end segment will be Metz. And in order to book the seat for that particular user, we will have to book any seat for that has been chosen by the user. For example, they chose seat number 16. We'll have to choose that particular seat on all the segments within the start segment and the end segment. All right, so between the 2 and 4, which is 3. So if let's say they chose seat number 16, so we'll pick up all this number 16 seats within this segment for that particular bus again, ISA, and for that particular route again. We'll see it later when we are designing the app or the backend. And actually, So this is an example of what I'm going to be showing you. So this is a segment and the seats which are available. So here we can see we have 20 seats and we have 2 seats which are booked. So red will be booked and black will be the how do you call it, the booked part. Actually, let me show you guys. Okay, no, it's all right. So for example, in our case we have 5 segments. So these are the now I didn't do 20 seats because I wanted to keep it tidy. So we have any number of seats like this, and let's say here in this example the user booked the whole journey, for example, like as an example, but I'll go into the next one and I'll give you an example, a proper one. So now the user said I want to go from Rennes to Metz, okay, and I chose the seat number 6 and 8. In our case, seat number 6 is this one and seat number 8 is this one, okay. And if we pull up this one, he wants to go from Rennes to Metz, okay. If we go back to our segment, let me go back to this segment. Okay, so from Rennes to Metz, we see the start segment is segment number 2 and the end segment is segment number 4, which means all the seats between segments 2 and 4, so the start segment and the end segment, have to be booked. Okay, 1 second again. So as you can see, all of these are booked. So seat number 6 and 8 between segment 2, 3, 4 are booked. And now I did an example where the guy goes from Brest to Reims. So if we look how many segments we got to Brest. Brest 1. This is 1 segment from Brest to Reims. Reims to Paris is segment number 2. Paris to Reims segment number 3. So start segment is 1 and segment is 3. So all this is between segment 1 and 3 booked. Yeah, as you can see, and the left seats segment 4 and 5 are free. So that means if somebody was to book something from Reims to Metz or Reims to Strasbourg, so now seat number 6 and 8 are free because the user actually dropped down. The people drop down from 6 to 8 anyway, like 6, 8 drop down at Reims, so we are good and such. Okay, but there's more things that has to be done. We'll see it in the next video when I start to code the backend. It's actually here, as you can see. So I've been doing some work on it. So we'll try to actually make it better over time. For now, what it's capable of doing is that you can actually set up a bus name, the owner of the bus, all this information. But I have done it like very quickly, so it's not the perfect one in API wise. But over time, we're going to obviously make it much better. Okay, so I hope you guys understood the details. So if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment and I'll try to reply to your questions. And yeah, and if you guys are interested in having the PPT, I will just leave it below and you can have it. See you next time.